Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar titled How to Write Your Nonfiction Book in 5 Easy Steps. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for taking some of your time to be with me this afternoon or morning or evening, depending on where you are joining me from. My name is Tolulope Popoola. I'm an author, a publisher, and writing coach at Accomplished Press. So I'd like to say thank you again for joining me here, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this webinar. I'm hoping you're an aspiring author and you want to write a nonfiction book in a few months' time, or probably you want to write a nonfiction book this year. So you're going to find this content very helpful for you. Before we start, let me give you a quick introduction. So like I said, my name is Tolulope Popoola. I'm a writer, I'm an author, I'm a publisher, and I'm a writing coach for aspiring authors. So what I do, I help aspiring authors to overcome to write, finding inspiration, writer's block and so on. Those are obstacles I help aspiring authors to overcome. I help them to clear their doubts. So if you're feeling like you don't have enough time to write, or maybe you can't even write at all, maybe you feel you don't know how to write or how to even string words together, well, I can help you overcome that. And I can help you reconnect with your creative side. So if you used to write before and you think you've lost that ability, or you've lost that talent, or you've lost that creativity, I can work with you and we'll reconnect you with that side, and you can get going on your writing goals. So that's what I do. I help aspiring authors to overcome these challenges so that they can finally write and publish the book within them. Because I know everyone has a book within them, everyone has a story to tell, and everyone is an expert at something. Okay, so my interests are words, obviously. So I love reading and I love writing. Those are my hobbies, and now I've built my job and my career around them. But to be honest, I wasn't always on this career path. So I wasn't always a writer or a reader or a publisher or a writing coach. Some years ago, I was an accountant, actually. I was working in a law firm in the city of London. Prior to working, I did a first degree in accounting and business economics. And I also did a master's degree in finance and investment, which is totally different from what I'm doing now. Yeah, a few years ago as well, I was working towards becoming a chartered management accountant. I was taking the CIMA exam, so that's Institute of Chartered Management Accountant exams. So there I was doing all these things that don't have anything to do with what I am actually doing now. So what made me change my mind from my previous career? Well, in 2006, I realized that I was miserable in my job. I hated the commute. I dreaded waking up on Monday mornings and hearing my alarm go off and thinking, gosh, I have to go to work today. I didn't like the inflexible structure of working 9 to 5. I thought it was too restrictive. And even though the company where I was, which is the law firm, was a very great place to work, I was still unhappy. And I knew I wasn't fulfilled. I knew there was something missing, and I knew I wasn't using my creative talents. I knew I was bored every day doing the same things with spreadsheets and figures and so on. And I started thinking, well, what kind of job would I do that would make me excited to get up in the morning and go to work? Now, for a long time, I actually thought that it was normal, that everybody hated their job, because that was what I saw around me. I thought it's normal to complain about your job, it's normal to hate your job, it's normal to hate Monday mornings. But it's normal to hate every morning. It's normal to grumble about your work. But some people made me realize actually, no, it's not normal to hate your job. There are people out there who absolutely love what they do for a living. So that changed my mind. And I thought, okay, what kind of job can I do then that would make me excited to get up in the morning and go to work? Now, like I said before, writing and reading have always been my hobbies. And it was something that came naturally to me. I enjoyed writing my thoughts down whenever I was upset. I kept a diary, I kept journals, and so on. And reading has always been something I love doing anyway, because I'm just drawn to reading words from somebody else, getting ideas from somebody else, being drawn into a fictional world. There's just something about reading that makes me happy. But for a long time, it didn't occur to me that I could make a career out of those interests, out of writing, or even like publishing. For a long time as well, I didn't know anybody around me who wrote professionally, who wrote for a living. And I didn't even think it was possible to be a full-time writer. I mean, after doing some research, I knew that, well, there's some people who write, but they also have a day job. So is it really possible for you to do that full-time? I didn't know at the time. Now, in 2006, however, I discovered blogging. And as soon as I found, blogs online and started reading them, I decided, wow, this is interesting. Maybe I should start a blog. So I started blogging, and it's reignited my love for writing. So I picked up writing again, and I started doing it regularly. And before long, I realized this was something I loved doing. So I started with just general talking about my day and stuff like that. But soon I started writing short stories, and then I started writing articles, and I fell in love with writing all over again. And I realized this is something I really, really want to do. So I took a short writing class, and then from there I got really great feedback from other people on the course. Then I started writing flash fiction. I started writing more short stories. I started writing articles for magazines and online publications. At some point in, I think, 2008, I created a popular online fiction series with 7 other writers, which was titled In My Dreams It Was Simpler. Now that lasted like 2 years, which was really great fun because a lot of people enjoyed reading it. We had updates on it every Friday, and it was a very fun experience. And in 2011, I finished working on my first novel, which was never published. So I put that aside, and then I took some characters out of the online fiction series and created a second novel. So my second novel, created that one out of the story. And I tried to get my novel published, but that wasn't particularly easy because I was getting rejections from mainstream publishers. Some of them said, well, it was good, but it wasn't commercially viable because they call it ethnic fiction, whatever that means. Some said, well, my writing is good, but they didn't have a market for it. Some said it wasn't the right time, and so on. And I thought, okay, fine. If mainstream publishing doesn't want to help me, then I'm just going to do it myself. So in 2011, I set up Accomplished Press and published my novel, Nothing Comes Close. And I've since then published 2 collections of flash fiction stories as well. Shortly after I published my novel, I started helping other writers to publish their own works too. So a couple of friends of mine said, oh, since you've done your book, can you do my book? And that's how I became a publisher. So now I've made the permanent leap from figures, spreadsheets, and accounting to writing, publishing, and coaching. Now, so now I get contacted a lot by aspiring authors to help them make their publishing and writing dreams come true. So that's part of why I'm doing what I do now. And so by following my dreams and my passions, I have completely changed my career path. So from accounting, now I'm doing writing and publishing and coaching aspiring authors. Now my passion is helping aspiring authors just like you to make your own writing and publishing dreams come true. Now that's why I've created this webinar to give you clear steps to take if you also want to start writing, especially if you want to write a nonfiction book, because that's what this webinar is about. So, have you been struggling for years to write your book? I know many aspiring authors who have a story within them, but they just don't know how to bring it out. Now, according to a recent American survey, 81% of people want to write a book. That's a big number, and I'm guessing you're one of them. Now, do you lie awake at night, hearing your ideas in your head and wishing you just had the right knowledge to get started with your book? So maybe you've always had an idea for a story, or you've always had an idea for a book. You want to share your knowledge, you want to tell your story, you want to meet the needs of some people by telling what you know and teaching what you know, but you just don't know how to start. Or have you been wishing there was a magic wand that would just take the great ideas in your head and transfer them onto paper for you simply because you don't know how to begin? Now, I can relate to that because before I started writing, I would have these ideas and I just think, don't I wish something could just take this idea and print it and publish it for me, and get it out of my head and onto paper. Okay, maybe you've already started making some attempts to write your book. Maybe you've done it, started working on some concepts or some ideas, but it was so overwhelming or so confusing that you quit. Maybe you started, but you've been struggling with self-doubt and you wonder if your work would ever be good enough. Maybe you compare yourself to other writers or you compare yourself to some of the people you admire who have written books and you think maybe you can't match their own level of talent or or their own level of expertise or their own level of skill. So you think maybe you shouldn't bother because you never be good enough. I can tell you that that's not true. The books you see have been edited and they've been polished. So whilst you are struggling to write your first draft, you can't compare yourself to a book that has already gone through several processes before it gets out into the real world. Or maybe you've been procrastinating with your idea because you're very busy. Maybe you have a full-time job, you have a family, you have other work commitments, you're studying and so on. Maybe you volunteer and you're looking after people and there never seems to be enough time in the day for you to write. But I can tell you now that you can write even if you're busy. I work with very busy people and we still work together to find the time for them to complete their book. Or maybe you're afraid of criticism or rejection because you think, what if people read what you write and they tell you it's rubbish and they just toss it aside? That feels like it's gonna hurt. But part of becoming a writer and getting yourself out there and opening yourself up to readers is getting over the fear of rejection, because not everybody will like your work, but the people who do would really connect with you in a way that nobody else can. So you have to get rid of that fear of criticism or rejection. Or maybe you're feeling reluctant to expose your inner thoughts and feelings to the world. I get this a lot with people who want to write memoirs because they're thinking, if I write this story, people would know what I'm thinking, people will know what I've been through, people will know what I've experienced. But that desire to write is still there. They're just feeling a bit reluctant. I can help you overcome that if you're thinking you don't want to you don't want to feel too exposed or too vulnerable by sharing your story. Or maybe you've even completely given up, after struggling for years to write your book. I know many people who have, and I'm here to tell you that you can write your book even if you've tucked it away for many years. Maybe you have several unfinished manuscripts in your computer, but they're just gathering virtual dust, because you haven't done anything with them in a while. But deep down, you know that writing your book is still an unfulfilled desire, and that desire hasn't gone away. So every day you still think about it, and sometimes you still imagine that you would one day get to write your book now. Well, now is the time to write your book. Don't procrastinate any longer, I want to tell you. So you don't want to go through the rest of your life feeling unfulfilled or feeling like a failure for not achieving this dream. And you don't want to continue feeling jealous of other writers who manage to overcome their own fears and get their stories written and published. I know that motivates some people because they tell me that, oh, I got the inspiration to finish writing my book because my friend finished writing her book or his book, and that made me feel jealous. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna do that myself too. So you don't want to continue feeling jealous of other people. Just find find your own strength, find your own overcome your own fear, and get on with writing your own book. And you don't want to keep carrying your ideas inside of you, but not being able to share them with your audience. Because I know that everyone has something to say, everyone has something to contribute, and if you don't, then you're depriving the world of your own special brand of knowledge, your own special skills, your own special experience. So, like I said, your clients are waiting for you, your readers are waiting to be inspired by your story. There's so many benefits to writing your book, and you don't want to miss out on them. There's a huge feeling of accomplishment you get when you tell people, I'm an author, I've written this book. And writing a book can help you get more clients. A book can be an additional source of income for you. You get huge respect and admiration from your family and your friends. If you get great feedback from your readers who absolutely love what you've written, it's a very good feeling. A book can help you get recognition as an expert. It can bring you awards. It can get you speaking opportunities and so many other doors that your writing will open for you that you can't even imagine. Because for me, for example, I started writing flash fiction just as an experiment because I loved it. And somewhere down the line, somebody found some of my work and turned them into a short film. So that was awesome. And that would never have happened if I didn't start following that dream of writing flash fiction. So you never know what opportunities are waiting for you just on the other side of fear. So you have to conquer your fear and write your book. So what's the solution? What do you need to do to start writing? Well, you need clear structures so that you're not feeling overwhelmed with the writing process. You need the right guidance that will steer you on the correct path and away from confusion. And you definitely need the right knowledge, and not just the knowledge, but you need it broken down into easy, practical steps so that you can start taking action on what you learned right away. And that's why I'm here to help you. So in this webinar, I'm going to share 5 steps to help you go from confused to confident about writing your book. I'll help you break down the nonfiction writing process into manageable steps so that you don't have to go through confusion and it's easy and straightforward so that you actually enjoy the brainstorming and the writing process. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar so that you can ask me anything about the steps we've discussed. So make sure you stay till the end. It's going to be really great. And just before we dig into the content and start going through the 5 steps, I'll ask you to please turn off the TV, turn off Facebook, switch your phone to silent, and so on, and remove all other distractions so that you can focus. And okay, so if you've done that, that's awesome. I hope you're ready to learn and implement these steps in your writing. So grab your pen and notebook and let's begin. So what are the 5 easy steps you need to start writing your nonfiction book? Well, the first step is to define your reason for writing your book. Now, many people write for different reasons, and each reason is different, and each reason will have a different measure of success. So, if you want to write a nonfiction book, perhaps maybe you have an important message to share with your community, or maybe you want to help people who are struggling with a particular disadvantage. Maybe you want to educate or inspire people. Maybe you want to demonstrate your expertise and authority on a particular topic. Or maybe you want to share a personal life experience or a personal story. Perhaps you have an audience that you want to write books to fulfill their needs. So, I mean, these are some of the reasons why people write nonfiction books. Now, for you, you would have to think about the reason why you want to write a book and think about it very carefully because you want to measure your success at the end of the whole writing and publishing process. So if obviously if you just want to share a personal life experience or a personal story, your reasons for writing your book and your expectations and your results will be different from somebody who wants to write a book to demonstrate their authority on a particular topic. So, like I said, with each different reason, you will have a different measure of success. So, if you want to use nonfiction book sales as the basis of your income, for example, your goal might be to write multiple books in a particular niche and dominate that market. So, for example, if you are a baker or you are a chef and you want to write books to showcase your um, authority, you would want to write many books and create maybe a series of recipes or a series of seasonal recipes. You want to write many books, but all still focused on what you do and dominate your market. So that's the first one. If you want to use your book to attract clients to other aspects of your work, say if you're a coach or a consultant, and maybe your niche is healthy living or weight loss or exercise, and you want to use your book to attract clients to your one-to-one, maybe your one-to-one coaching programs, then what you want to do is write a book, share your expertise, and then get the readers to sign up to your email list where you can then introduce them to other aspects of your work, such as your coaching programs or your one-to-one programs and so on. And if your goal is to educate people, maybe around something you've experienced or maybe about your expertise, and you may be happy with publishing just one book and promoting it to the right audience. So maybe if you were a film producer, for example, and you want to educate people who are just coming into the industry about how to do a particular aspect of film producing, then your goal would be to write a very good book on film production and promote it to students of film or people who are studying film production or movie production or TV production. So you promote it to the right audience, and that will help you get the readers you want because you've narrowed down your target market to those people. So the first step, like I said, is to define your reason for writing your books. So from the start, once you know what your aim is and your goal is, that would help you further down the line when you're writing your book and when you're trying to find your target market, when you're trying to market, when you're trying to find the people who are going to read it, and when you're trying to measure your success. Okay, so the next step, step 2, choosing a good topic. So obviously this just thing, you have to choose a good topic. But you may already have an idea of what your area of interest is in, or what you're an expert at, or maybe because the book is going to be based on your life experience, maybe on your work, on your expertise, or maybe on a new discovery that you've made. So, for example, like I said earlier, if you are a film production expert and you want to educate people who are new to the industry, you're going to choose a topic around that film production. Or if you wanted to write a memoir, so you would write a story, you would write your nonfiction book or your story based on your experiences in the past, maybe on your family, where you grew up, and so on. So your topic obviously is the basis for what you're going to do when you start working on the book. So now, when you're choosing your topic, you have to think about your target readers. Who is going to buy your book? Who are the people that you're targeting, and who are the people that you want to solve a problem for? So think about it. Why do people read nonfiction? Most people read nonfiction because they are looking for answers to a question, or they need solutions to a particular problem that they are having. So think about what your book is, what specific problem your book is going to solve for your target reader. Think about what information your book is going to teach them. So when you're thinking about your topic, you have to think about the end reader. You have to have, think about what the end reader is going to gain from reading your book. So these questions will help you narrow your topic and focus your ideas. Now, most writers only think about their target reader after they finished writing the book. So they just start off with writing, and then at the end, then they worry about who's going to buy the book or who's going to read the book. But I think it's a better idea, and it's better for you to define your target reader before you start writing. If you do that, it will make it easier for you to speak directly to them. So if you know what your target reader wants to hear, and you know how they're going to what they're going to expect, then it's easier for you to write a book that includes the information that is relevant to them. So if, for example, if you're writing a book about self-publishing, for example, and you're writing to someone who is completely new to self-publishing, if that is your target reader, you're going to write differently from if you were writing to someone who is already a self-publishing expert. The way you perceive your reader, or the needs of your reader, would definitely change the way you choose your topic and the way you approach the subject. Now, knowing your target reader would also help you when you get to the publishing and marketing stage. So after you've finished writing, you know exactly who to market your book to. So you're not going to market to students if you're going to be talking about somebody, if you're going to be working on a topic that needs years of experience in the industry to learn. So you won't target students, or you won't target the newbies in the industry. Now, this is particularly important if you're self-publishing, because you need to find out where your target readers will hang out and how to reach them. It's also important when you are talking about the content of your book, because you need to know what topics to like when you break down your own topic, you need to know what topics would be more appealing for each chapter in your book, and how you structure the chapters. Okay, so we are now on step 3. So step 3 is researching your chosen topic. Now you've chosen a topic, but now you need to do some research. I know most people who write nonfiction books are already experts, but you still need to research to make sure that what you know is correct, is up to date, and is relevant. Now, because when you're writing nonfiction, your readers will expect your words to be based on facts. When you're writing nonfiction, most readers expect that what you're telling them is factual, what you're telling them is true, and you are to be trusted with what you're explaining. So I know some people, when you're writing a memoir, you feel like you might not need so much research because you're writing based on your personal experiences and you're writing from memory, but you still need to do some research around maybe places, the dates and the events and the people in your story. So some things might have changed, and some things might not be as relevant anymore. Some things might you might need to find out more about the maybe places that you grew up in, maybe the name of the town where you were born, what was it like at the time, and so on. So even if you're writing about your personal experiences, there are still some things that you need to research to make your story true and to make your story as rich and as full as possible. Well, memoirs might not require as much research as other types of nonfiction. Okay, so when you're researching, a good place to start is by reading other books around your chosen topic. So I would advise most new writers anyway to choose between 5 to 10 books around your subject. That might seem like a lot, but you have to read widely and read a variety of different books on your topic for you to learn more and for you to see how the topic has been covered by other authors and what you can add. Now, like I said, even the most obscure topics will have a classic book or two about it. Read and analyze each book carefully. So what makes each writer's approach to their topic unique or engaging? If the topic has been covered extensively by other authors, can you find an area or can you find a part of the topic where you can add something new? What are you going to add to what contribution are you going to make to this topic to make it fresh, to make it new, to bring in new information, or to make it more appealing to your reader? Now, apart from reading other published books, you can also conduct research by reading articles or blogs or newspaper reports around your topic. Maybe you can conduct interviews with people who have experience in the area you want to write about. So, for example, if you want to write about somebody who maybe cancer survival rates, for example, you probably best of conducting interviews with people who have gone through cancer treatments and come out and they've survived the illness. Or you can create a survey of people in your target markets to find out what information they're really looking for. So when you're doing your research, you might want to reach out to people that you're trying to target and ask them what gaps are there in their knowledge or what information would they be looking for if they wanted to buy, if they were going to buy a book on that topic. And here's a good tip I learned. You can read reviews of other books in your niche to find out what the readers feel is lacking. So sometimes when you go on maybe Amazon and you're looking for books on the topic, you can go through some of the reviews and some of the comments that readers have put there. And sometimes you might find a reader leaving a review saying, "Oh, I wish this author had touched on this part of the topic," or "I wish he explained more on this area," or "I wish he gave more examples." So those kind of comments and those kind of feedback will be good for you when you're doing your research, so you know what readers are looking for and what is still missing, and you can add that to your book. Now, once you're armed with enough information, it's time to stop researching and start writing. Because I know it's very tempting when writers are doing research, they kind of go down a maze and they never get back to actual writing. So once you've gathered enough information to start, at least the best thing is for you to start, and then you can research as you go along and just add more information as you go along. But it's before you just go off and spend years doing research, it's best to just gather enough information to start so that you don't get sidetracked or derailed by research, and then start using that as an excuse to procrastinate on the actual writing. Okay. Step 4 is then you need to choose your book title and your subtitle. Now, this is an important step that many writers leave until the end of the book or until they finish writing. But I think you should start working on it before you actually start writing your first drafts. And this is why I think having a great title, it already helps you shape the thoughts and the contents of your book into a cohesive structure in your mind. It makes the book seem more real. Now, non-fiction book titles have an advantage over fiction because they can be keyword rich and they can be specific enough to be found through search. So when you're choosing your book title and your subtitle, you can make your title very specific to your subject. And if you know what your target readers are searching for, it will be easier for you to choose these keywords in your title. And that would help you make your book to be found easily. So when you put your book online, then readers can search for it based on the keywords that are in the title, and it will be easy to find your book. So, for example, if your topic is baking and your special niche is baking sweet desserts, and now you want to write a book for beginners about this topic, you would need a title that adequately describes what your reader will expect to find in your book. So, how do you find the right keywords? Well, I recommend going on Amazon and typing some words related to your topic in the search bar. So, in my example above, I will go on Amazon and go in the search bar and type things like baking, sweets, desserts, cookbooks, how to bake, and other things. I might type my baking recipes and so on into the search bar. Now, Amazon search bar is very good and it's very useful for this because it will give you a drop down of some of the keywords and some of the phrases that other people are using to search for books in that niche. So as you're searching, you find other examples. So maybe you find things like baking recipes or recipes for desserts or baking cookbooks, and stuff like that. So you can put those, write those down and start using them when you're brainstorming for your book title and your subtitle. So when you have your chosen keywords, you can start to brainstorm ideas for your title. Now, excuse me, an effective nonfiction title has two equally important components. So you have the main title and then the subtitle. So the main title of your book should be the hook. Now, this hook will be the brand and it should portray the unique selling points of your book. It should be able to hook the mind of the reader so that they don't confuse it with other books, and it should not contain words that are too vague or too common or whose meaning can be lost or mean something different. And then the subtitle of your book should be the promise. So the subtitle should tell your reader exactly what your book is about, and it should tell your reader, if possible, it should tell them who the book is for. And it should contain those important keywords that would appear in searches if people are looking for your topic. Now, the best thing about the subtitle is that it's an invitation for readers or your potential reader to step in and check out the promise of what they'll find inside. So in my earlier example, like I said, if somebody is a baker looking to write a book for beginners on baking sweet desserts, I would choose something like this: baking sweet desserts, and then the subtitle will be 101 awesome recipes for beginners. So this book title tells you who the book is for. It's for beginners. What it contains: it contains awesome recipes, and there will be 101 of those awesome recipes, and the whole point of the book is about baking sweet desserts. Okay, so we've done steps 1 to 4, and now we're on step 5. So now you have a good topic, you've narrowed down your niche, you know who you're writing for, and you have a great title. The next step is to create a content plan. So your content plan is where you need to break down your topic into smaller, smaller sections, and then you start organizing them into a book format. You need to create a table of contents that will act as a roadmap for you as you write the book. And having a content plan means you can divide your topic into sections and subsections and chapters and subchapters, so that you have a roadmap or you have a clear plan as you start writing and as you go along. Excuse me. So a good technique to use when planning the content for your non-fiction book is a mind map. Now, what is a mind map? A mind map is a plan that you can create. You can do it either on paper or on a whiteboard, or there's some software that you can use to do it on your computer. It looks like the solar system. So there's a sun in the center, and then your planets revolving around it. And so you can use it to create a plan or a map of your book. So since you're working on a non-fiction book, the center will contain the title of your book, and then surrounding it will be the topics, the subtopics, and each one containing the title of one of the sections or parts of your book. Now, each of these sections will link to smaller topics, and each one will link to smaller chapters as well. Now, the final step is to add the main ideas or subtopics you intend to cover in each chapter. Okay, so to illustrate that, here's what a mind map looks like. So like I said, in the center, you would have the main title, so the title and the subtitle of your book, and then maybe each of the 4 subtitles. Sorry. Each of the 4 sections that link to the center would have the subtopics, and then each one will be broken down into further topics, smaller topics, and then each one will be broken down into chapters and subchapters. So when you're creating a content plan, I think a mind map is useful because, one, it helps you to organize your ideas. So every idea you have, and you can plug it into this, and you can see where it fits within the whole structure of your book. So if I'm going to use the example of the baker who is writing a book about baking sweet desserts, I'll put the title in the center, so baking sweet desserts will be in the center, and then maybe I'll go on to find things like ingredients. So ingredients will form one of the subtopics. Things like the equipment, so maybe baking equipment will be one of the topics. Things like techniques would be one of the topics, and things like maybe even the history behind some of the recipes. And then if I break it down even further, I could go with so the history of sweet desserts. How did we come up with some of these recipes, and things like that would come under one of the subtopics. So when you're talking about things like ingredients, is it better to use fresh or frozen fruits and things like that? That will come under one of the subtopics, and so on. So all the ideas you have when you're creating your plan or creating the content for your book, it helps if you create a mind map for them so that you can structure the book properly. And then the mind map is useful because it can help you schedule your work. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to work on the ingredient section today. So when you open your mind map, you see, okay, today we're going to talk about ingredients, and I'm going to write a chapter on ingredients. So you can schedule that chapter in and put a date on it and say, okay, today I'm going to write, or this week I'm going to work on the ingredients chapter. And then the next week you put a date on it and say, okay, this week I'm going to work on recipes, and so on. So that helps you schedule your work so that you know at each point in time what you're working on. And finally, it's excellent for helping you to track your progress, because you know which topics you've covered and which topics you still need to cover. So if you ticked off maybe like 5 boxes, you know, okay, I still have maybe 12 boxes left. So as you go along, you can track how much you've done and how much you still need to do before you finish the content for your nonfiction book. So like I said, you start by adding your book's title to the center of the map. And well, this mind map is not set in stone. You can have as many subtopics and as many sections as you want. I've just taken this picture because I thought it was simple and straightforward. So if you wanted to have a mind map with 4 subtopics or 4 main sections or 4 main sections, that's fine. You can use this template, or you can even create your own, which may have more than 4. So maybe you have 6 subtopics. And then as you plan your book, you insert the titles of each of the topics, each of the chapters. And so by the time you finished, you would have created a detailed table of contents for your book, and it will be easy for you to just fill out and do your research, and then just fill out each of the boxes with the content you want to create. So there you have it. To recap the 5 steps to writing your nonfiction book, the first one is define your reason for writing your book. Then you choose a good topic, and in the process, identify who your target reader is. 3, you research your chosen topic. 4, you choose your book's title and subtitle. And 5, you create a content plan. Now, once you've gone through these 5 steps, you would have laid the groundwork for your nonfiction book, and you have an awesome plan to go on, and writing it should be very straightforward. So the next step for you would be to write your full first draft. So I would define a first draft as the full book, where you don't have any other things pending, where you don't have any other bits to write. So you've written all your chapters and you started filling everything with words. So this is where you need to put all your research and all the notes you've made together, and you start filling in your chapters with words. And to successfully achieve this in a short space of time, so that you don't procrastinate and so on, you need to create a writing schedule, and you need to be consistent with it. So you need to allocate time every day or every week to continually write until you finished, working on all the parts of your mind map and all the parts of your content plan. Now, this is where most writers struggle and give up. But I'm telling you that writing your first draft doesn't have to be a struggle, and writing your first draft doesn't have to take years either. Now, it is possible for you to write and publish your book in 2016. Yep, and I can help you with that. So what if I told you that you can write your first draft in just 8 weeks? That's right. Yep, in just 2 months, you can go from your initial idea to your full first draft. So if you're ready to complete your first draft using the 5 steps that I've covered here, and then there are some other aspects of writing a nonfiction book, then I would like to invite you to work with me one-to-one in my 8-week private coaching program. So my private coaching program is for you if you are serious about writing your book quickly, if you are tired of feeling overwhelmed with the writing process, if you are tired of procrastinating with your writing goals, if you're keen to share your unique story and insights with the world, if you're ready to receive the help and advice you need to achieve your book, if you're ready to take the next step to becoming a successful author, and you are no longer in the excuses zone. So this is going to happen. You're going to write your book this year, and you're no longer going to waste time. So are you ready to write your book? Yes? Good. Are you ready to stop guessing? Are you ready to stop trying 100 different things that don't work for you? Are you ready to stop procrastinating and step into the benefits of writing your book, such as increased income, more clients, speaking opportunities, and lots more? Good. If you are, then please go to Popoola.equityscheduling.com now and schedule a free call with me today, and then we can speak and I can see how I can help you with writing your book. Now, the key aspect of this coaching is the support and accountability. If you're trying to write a book on your own, there will be days when you get discouraged. There'll be days when you get overwhelmed or tempted to quit. I've been there, I know that. Sometimes you may get distracted, sometimes you start making excuses and you start slacking off. And chances are the longer you slack off, the harder it is to pick up again from where you left off. So you just leave it and then you never finish writing. But I'm not going to let that happen to you. So with my 8-week one-to-one coaching program, I would keep you accountable. So every week you have my support to keep you moving forward. You get feedback on the research and the progress you've made so far. You get encouraging ideas to help you move past your doubts. You get writing prompts and exercises to keep your words flowing and help you break through writer's block. And you get helpful weekly targets to help you stay on track. And by the end of our coaching time together, you realize that you were able to achieve your goals. And not only that, you actually enjoyed writing your book. So I'm going to make the process fun and effective and straightforward for you. Okay, so what does the program include? So you have an introductory session with me, and you have 8 weekly coaching sessions. You have coursework and assignments, and you get my support and accountability. You get email support during the duration. So during the 8 weeks, you can email me with any questions you have. And you get reviews and feedback on what you've done so far. You also get some bonuses. So you get access to my private Facebook group where I have my coaching clients and I speak to them and I discuss with them every day on Facebook. And then at the end of the coaching, you get a professional marketing consultation to help you with identifying who your target reader is and targeting them effectively. And then you get a professional publishing consultation. So if you want to sell all the options you have and the best way to do it. And that's not all. When you register, you get a free copy of my ebook, 10 Tips to Beat Procrastination for Writers. So this ebook will give you real helpful advice on how to overcome that pesky problem that all writers face. I know many writers who come to tell me that, oh, they really would love to write a book, but they're struggling so much with procrastination. And you also receive a free copy of my ebook, 15 Mistakes Self-Publishing Writers Need to Avoid. So this ebook is packed full of advice for you if you are considering self-publishing your work. And it's always best to read this kind of books before you actually go into self-publishing so that you avoid all the mistakes that most of us have made. And you know, the book contains advice that I wish I had been told before I embarked on self-publishing. So what's the investment for this 8-week private coaching? The 8-week coaching is for £1,399, so that's £1,399, which is roughly about $1,995. And you can make payments with your credit card or via PayPal or via bank transfer. Now, I know most people might not be able to pay all that upfront, so there are installment options available. You can choose to make either 2 payments of £700 or 3 payments of £470. And if you're interested in this coaching, but you need different installment payments or different arrangements, then please let me know during our call and we should be able to arrange something for you. So like I said, the full investment is £1,399, but I'm offering a discount because of people who are on this webinar today. So writers who sign up and pay in full before the end of February 2016 will get 20% off the price of the course. And you also get a further 10% if you mention during our call that you heard about the program, or you heard about my coaching through this webinar. So that's a bonus for you for staying with me on this webinar. So that means you get the full 8-week program, including all the bonuses, for just £1,000 if you book your call and sign up right now. So that's £399 of the price, which is an awesome deal. Okay, so if you're ready to take action and finally write your book this year, please go to Tolulope.com now and schedule a free call with me today. During the call, we'll discuss your writing goals, how quickly you want to achieve them, We'll see if we're a good fit to work together, and if we are, then that's awesome. Then we'll set up our appointments and we'll get to work immediately. Now, I'm only able to take a limited number of one-to-one clients each month, so priority will be given to people who schedule their call early. Now, so if we do get on to start working together, as your writing coach, this is what I'll help you with. One, I'll help you with getting clear about your goals. So why you want to write, who you want to reach, and how we are going to achieve those goals. We will develop a plan for your success so that you achieve your goals. We'll create a system for you to take action each week, and then having accountability to support your success. We will address any challenges you're having in meeting your goals, and will overcome any roadblocks to achieving your goals. So every week we'll assess your progress and make necessary changes to our plan. I will provide feedback on your writing, and I will help you overcome creativity blocks. I'll help you manage your time effectively so you can find the time to write and get published. And I will help you make the process easier, more fun, and more effective. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding the content I've covered in this webinar or about my one-to-one coaching program, please let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or type a question in the message box, and I will get them to you. I'll get back to you. If you have any questions, you can also feel free to email me after this webinar. So you can send questions to coaching@accomplishpress.com, which will come through to me, and I will be able to answer you. Or if you don't want to send me a question now, you want to discuss with me directly over the phone, then that's fine. You can ask me any questions during our discovery call. Okay, so if 2016 is the year you want to get your book written and published, then take the first step to making it happen. You can read books and so on, but there's no substitute to getting live help from a living, breathing expert to help you accomplish your writing dreams. So go to Tolulope.com to schedule a call with me now. And very soon we'll be celebrating because you have your very own published book in your hands. Just imagine seeing your name and your book come up on Amazon. That would be awesome. Imagine getting more clients and adding a new income stream to your business. Imagine having more credibility and more authority because of your expert knowledge is now written now in book form. So I can tell you that this is possible for you. Even if you don't have loads of time, and even if you don't think you're a good writer, it's possible for you to write a non-fiction book and get it published. Okay, so I would like to say thank you very, very much for sticking with me till this time and attending this webinar. I hope you found it insightful, and I hope we found it helpful for writing your non-fiction book. So I look forward to helping you with writing your book in the coming weeks. If you if you have any questions, feel free to email me or feel free to reach out to me, or just click on Popoola.com to schedule a call with me now. Thank you once again. Like I said, thank you very, very much for attending this webinar and sticking with me till the end. I really appreciate it, and I hope you tell all your friends who want to write a book as well. Thank you. So if you have any more questions that haven't been addressed here, do feel free to reach out to me. I'm available on most social media platforms. I am on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, Google+, and Goodreads. My website is www.accomplishpress.com. So that's www.accomplishpress.com. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/Tolulope. I'm on Twitter, that's twitter.com/Tolulope. And my calendar to book an appointment with me is tolulope.popoola.com. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you and speak to you very soon.